In a world brimming with stories of fame, artistry, and adventure, some tales stand out for their mysterious endings. These are the stories of individuals who left behind their last recordings before vanishing without a trace. From Amelia Earhart's final flight log to Jim Sullivan's enigmatic encounter with aliens, join us on a captivating journey through 10 well-known figures whose disappearances continue to baffle the world. Get ready to be enthralled by the eerie, the unexplained, and the tantalizing questions that linger in the air. Welcome to the enigmatic world of the 10 last recordings of people never seen again. Number 1. Amelia Earhart's final flight log. So let's start with a woman who needs no introduction, the legendary aviatrix, Amelia Earhart. Known for her daring exploits, Earhart remains as much a riddle as an icon, thanks to her mysterious disappearance during a flight around the world in 1937. Ready to soar into the unknown? Let's take off. Amelia Earhart, the Kansas-born tomboy-turned-world-famous pilot, possessed an indomitable spirit that still captures the world's imagination. Yet the focus of our tale isn't her numerous flying records or her status as the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. No, our tale is focused on that fateful day of July 2nd, 1937. The day Amelia Earhart, along with her navigator Fred Noonan, seemed to vanish into thin air. The last recording of Earhart isn't a video, but rather a series of eerie radio messages. She and Noonan were near the end of their audacious round-the-world journey in a Lockheed Electra, attempting to locate tiny Howland Island in the Pacific. The last radio transmission received was a simple, unsettling phrase: "We are running online north and south." Despite the best efforts of the Coast Guard and Navy, no trace of the duo or their aircraft was ever found. To this day, Earhart's disappearance remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. You could say it's the Bermuda Triangle of aeronautical history, except that it's real, not just a story cooked up by conspiracy theorists on a slow news day. Earhart's final flight log, which was intended as a record of her round-the-world journey, morphed into an unintentional testament of her disappearance. The log was filled with standard entries about headings, weather, and fuel consumption. But it's the stark absence of entries following that fateful radio message that sends chills down the spine. Now you might be wondering, dear viewer, how Earhart's last recording came to light. Good question. It was released by the U.S. government during their extensive, albeit fruitless, search operations. Today, you can find the recordings and transcripts online. They bear silent witness to her final moments, her voice etched forever in history, hinting at a mystery we're still trying to solve. And so, Earhart's tale reminds us of the human spirit's resilience, the relentless quest for knowledge, and yes, the ever-present shadow of the unknown. Can you imagine what it must have been like, dear viewer, to be in the cockpit with Earhart and Noonan during their final frantic minutes? Of course, we'll never know, and therein lies the haunting allure of Amelia Earhart's last recording. It's a stark echo, a ghostly testament, forever looped in the annals of mystery, the final note in the symphony of a life lived on the edge of possibility and peril. With that, we descend from the clouds, but worry not. We've got 9 more enigmatic tales to unspool. Brace yourself for a dive into the world of music and a man who walked away from fame in our next chapter, Richie Edwards and his cryptic carvings. Number 2. Richie Edwards and his cryptic carvings. In the annals of rock and roll, there are few stories as captivating and chilling as that of Richie Edwards. Don't recognize the name? Don't worry. By the end of this tale, you'll never forget it. Richie Edwards was the lyricist and rhythm guitarist of the Welsh alternative rock band, Manic Street Preachers. Known for his edgy style and razor-sharp lyrics, Edwards was, by all accounts, a rock star in the making. But alas, destiny had a different script. He disappeared in 1995, leaving behind only mysteries and, yes, cryptic carvings. Let's dive in, shall we? It was on the morning of February 1st, 1995, that Edwards vanished from the face of the earth. He was last seen leaving the Embassy Hotel in London, his silver Proton car packed, as though ready for a journey. 2 weeks later, his vehicle was found abandoned near the Severn Bridge, a known suicide spot. However, the last recording of Edwards wasn't a traditional audio or video recording, but something just as haunting, a series of cryptic carvings on a wooden desk. These carvings, discovered in his flat after his disappearance, showed symbols, words, and phrases that have never been deciphered. It's as if Edwards left behind his own Da Vinci Code, an enigma wrapped in a riddle. Now, dear viewer, you might be wondering, why are these carvings considered his last recording? Well, Edwards was a troubled soul, known for expressing his emotions through his lyrics and poetry. The carvings, many believe, were his final message to the world. Images of the carvings have since circulated online, leading to numerous theories about their meanings. Some suggest they're lyrics to unreleased songs, while others believe they're personal messages meant for his bandmates or family. Of course, there's the more grim interpretation that the carvings are a coded suicide note. Edwards' case remains one of music's greatest unsolved mysteries, a chilling cocktail of fame, talent, and mental health struggles. It's like the rock and roll version of an Agatha Christie novel, but with more guitar riffs and less Hercule Poirot. So whether you're a fan of rock music or a mystery buff, Edwards' story is sure to strike a chord. It's a reminder that fame isn't all glitz and glamour, and that even in our digital age, some stories still elude resolution. Isn't that something to ponder? As we close the book on Edwards' mysterious tale, we can't help but wonder what the next chapter in our narrative holds. Prepare for a change in frequency as we tune into the lost broadcast of Theodosia Burr Alston. You might want to adjust your antennas for this one. Number 3. The lost broadcast of Theodosia Burr Alston. Let's cast our minds back, dear viewer, way back to the early 19th century, a time without television, mobile phones, or social media. What was the last recording back then, you ask? Stay with me as we unravel the tale of Theodosia Burr Alston, a lady of high society whose disappearance shook America. Theodosia, the beloved daughter of the infamous Aaron Burr, yes, that Aaron Burr of Hamilton Duel fame, was a well-educated, elegant woman known for her intellect and grace. But she also had the dubious honor of being part of one of history's most baffling maritime mysteries. Theodosia was last seen on December 30th, 1812, boarding the schooner Patriot from South Carolina, planning to visit her father in New York. But alas, Theodosia, the Patriot, and her crew never arrived. Despite numerous search efforts, no trace of the ship or its passengers was ever found. Now, the last recording of Theodosia is quite intriguingly a letter. Yes, dear viewer, in an era before instant communication, letters were the primary means of recording one's thoughts. This last letter was penned by Theodosia herself, just before her departure. In her heartfelt letter, she expressed her excitement at seeing her father and her concerns about the journey, considering the turbulent geopolitical conditions. The War of 1812 was in full swing. It was as if she had an inkling of the fate that awaited her. Little did she know, her words would serve as her last testament to the world. While you can't listen to Theodosia's voice or see her expressions, her letter, available in digital form online, offers a poignant glimpse into her last known moments. It's a chilling reminder of the uncertainty of life, as haunting as any video or audio recording. The story of Theodosia Burr Alston is straight out of a Gothic novel, a tale of high society, a perilous journey, and a mysterious end. It's a centuries-old cold case that stirred the imagination of historians and mystery buffs alike. It's the kind of stuff that puts Sherlock Holmes's cases to shame. So there you have it, dear viewer. The tale of Theodosia Burr Alston, a woman who left her mark on history not just through her social status, but through her enigmatic disappearance. Quite the plot twist, wouldn't you say? But don't put on your nightcap just yet. We're heading back to the 20th century and diving into the world of war photography with our next tale, Sean Flynn's indelible photographs. Ready for a snapshot of history? Grab your camera and let's go. Number 4. Sean Flynn's indelible photographs. Next up, we pivot from the world of high society intrigue to the heart of conflict zones with Sean Flynn. The name might ring a bell for classic Hollywood fans, as he was the son of the legendary actor Errol Flynn. But our story isn't about red carpets or golden statuettes. No, dear viewer, our narrative is about a dashing photojournalist who stepped into the line of fire and then, just as suddenly, vanished. Sean Flynn wasn't content with riding his father's coattails. He wanted to make his own mark on the world. And boy, did he. He became an acclaimed war photographer, capturing the stark reality of the Vietnam War through his lens. His images, striking and haunting, brought the brutal realities of war into living rooms around the world. However, Flynn's adventurous spirit eventually led him into the arms of danger. In 1970, he and fellow photojournalist Dana Stone embarked on a motorbike journey through Cambodia to cover the conflict from the front lines. That was the last anyone ever saw of them. Despite extensive searches and numerous theories, the fate of the two journalists remains unknown. The last recording of Flynn wasn't a personal message or a goodbye note, but a collection of powerful photographs taken days before his disappearance. His final images, a raw portrayal of a war-torn Cambodia, serve as a chilling and silent testament to his courage and his talent. Just imagine, dear viewer, the stories that each photo tells, the fear and determination in the soldiers' eyes, the ravages of war on the landscape, the resilience of the human spirit amidst chaos. Isn't it eerie to think these were some of the last scenes Flynn witnessed before he disappeared? Well, fear not, dear viewer. We're leaving the war zone behind and venturing into the jungles of New Guinea next, on the trail of a certain Michael Rockefeller and the unforgiving jungle. Yes, that Rockefeller. Fasten your seatbelt and keep your binoculars handy. We're about to journey into the wild. Number 5. Michael Rockefeller and the unforgiving jungle. From the front line of war, we now venture into a different kind of battlefield, the unforgiving jungles of New Guinea. And the protagonist of our story is Michael Rockefeller, scion of the Rockefeller dynasty. But forget about oil fields and high finance, dear viewer. Our tale involves primitive tribes, exotic art, and a vanishing that still baffles the world. Michael was a far cry from the stereotypical billionaire heir. Rather than lounging in the lap of luxury, he was fascinated by primitive art and cultures. In 1961, he traveled to the Asmat region of New Guinea, a remote area inhabited by tribes known for their intricate wood carvings and, rather disconcertingly, a history of headhunting. However, the Asmat region wasn't just full of amazing art, it was also fraught with danger. On November 19, 1961, while on a voyage to collect carvings, Michael and his companion's boat capsized. Undeterred, Michael decided to swim to the nearby shore for help. Those were his last known moments. He disappeared, swallowed by the vast jungle and its untamed waters. His last recording was a collection of photographs and notes documenting his interaction with the tribes and his admiration for their art. These images, poignant and powerful, offer a glimpse into Michael's journey, his fascination with a world so far removed from his own. Consider, dear viewer, the contrasts in these pictures. The raw, natural beauty of New Guinea juxtaposed with the sophisticated Rockefeller air. The age-old tribal traditions captured through a modern camera lens. It's like an episode of Survivor, but without the camera crew or any hope of rescue. But don't wander off just yet. We've got more mysteries to unravel. Up next, we dive into a tale filled with hoops, tropical paradises, and an unceremonious vanishing act in Bison Dell's Last Splash. Ready to jump in? Number 6. Bison Dell's Last Splash. From the wild jungle, we now leap into the world of professional sports, where big personalities and bigger paychecks are the norms. Enter Bison Dell, former NBA player who disappeared in the tropical Pacific under circumstances as strange and elusive as a well-executed trick shot. Are you ready to dribble into this mystery? Born Brian Williams, he legally changed his name to Bison Dell to honor his Native American and African heritage. Delly had a successful NBA career, even earning a championship ring with the Chicago Bulls in 1997. But unlike most athletes, Dell's story didn't culminate on the court. Instead, it vanished into the depths of the Pacific Ocean. In July 2002, Delly, his girlfriend Serena Carlin, and the boat's skipper sailed from Tahiti on Delly's catamaran, the Hakuna Matata. They were never seen again. Dell's brother, who was also on the trip, returned alone, offering conflicting stories about the others' whereabouts. Despite a full-scale investigation, no definitive evidence was ever found, and the case remains an open mystery. The last recording of Delly is a video showing him in his element, dribbling, shooting, and living it up in Tahiti. This footage, widely available online, is eerily poignant. His broad smile and seemingly carefree demeanor betray no hint of the tragedy that would soon unfold. It's like watching the final scenes of a movie, knowing that the protagonist won't make it to the end credits. Next up, we're tuning into Jimmy Hoffa's Unanswered Call. Get ready for a tale filled with power, politics, and one of America's most infamous disappearances. Can you hear the phone ringing? Number 7. Glenn Miller's disappearing melody. All right, dear viewer, ready to jump back in time again? Let's do it. But this time, we're setting the stage with some catchy tunes and a legendary band leader. That's right. We're delving into the mysterious disappearance of Glenn Miller, one of the most successful musicians of the big band era. Dust off your dancing shoes and let's swing into this enigma. Born in 1904, Glenn Miller was a famed American big band musician, arranger, composer, and band leader in the swing era. He was one of the best-selling recording artists from 1939 to 1943, leading one of the best-known big bands. His tunes like In the Mood and Moonlight Serenade still resonate today, a timeless testament to his musical genius. But Miller's story took a chilling turn in December 1944 during World War II. He was due to fly from the UK to Paris to give a performance for the troops. However, his plane disappeared over the English Channel and was never seen again. Extensive searches were conducted, but no wreckage of the plane was found. The last recording of Miller? It's a hauntingly beautiful audio recording of his final broadcast for the BBC. In it, he and his band perform some of their most beloved tunes, filling the airwaves with swing rhythms that feel both vibrant and hauntingly poignant. You can find this recording online and let yourself be transported back to that era where music offered solace amid the ravages of war. But don't put away your dancing shoes just yet. We're moving from the big band era to the age of counterculture next with our tale about Jim Sullivan's cosmic voyage. Ready for a trip across space and time? Let's hit the road. Number 8. Boss Jan Ader's final performance art. From haunting melodies, we move to the world of contemporary art, where lines between reality and representation often blur. Our next story revolves around Boss Jan Ader, a Dutch conceptual artist and performer who made his life's final act a piece of art. Sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Buckle up, dear viewer. We're about to dive into the avant-garde. Boss Jan Ader was known for his thought-provoking performance art, often exploring themes of gravity and vulnerability. But his final performance, In Search of the Miraculous, proved to be more prophetic than anyone could have imagined. For this work, Ader set out alone across the Atlantic in a 12-foot cruiser, a journey that was expected to take about 2 to 3 months. However, after radio contact was lost just 3 weeks into the voyage, Ader was never heard from again. His boat was found, half submerged, off the coast of Ireland several months later, but there was no sign of Ader himself. The last recording of Ader is a series of hauntingly beautiful photographs and a single-channel video, all part of his final performance. These images, available online, depict Ader alone with his boat, preparing for his journey, seemingly aware of the risks involved. But hold on, we're not done yet. Next, we travel back to the golden age of aviation with Fred Noonan and the flight into oblivion. Ready to take flight into the unknown? Keep your seatbelt fastened and let's fly on. Number 9. Harold Holt's Last Swim. Fasten your snorkels, dear viewer, because our next tale takes us to the sun-soaked beaches of Australia and dives into the mysterious disappearance of none other than Harold Holt, the 17th Prime Minister of Australia. Prepare to make a splash into the enigma of Harold Holt's last swim. Harold Holt, a charismatic and influential figure, served as Australia's Prime Minister from 1966 until his vanishing act in 1967. Known for his love of the ocean, Holt was an avid swimmer and often sought solace in the waters surrounding his beachfront residence in Portsea, Victoria. On December 17, 1967, Holt, accompanied by a group of friends, took an impromptu swim at Cheviot Beach, a picturesque stretch of coastline. But as the sun set and evening descended, Harold Holt disappeared beneath the waves, never to be seen again. The last recording of Holt isn't a video or a photograph, but rather the collective memories and eyewitness accounts of those present that day. The haunting image of Holt's silhouette disappearing into the vast ocean looms large in their minds. It's a mental snapshot frozen in time, a moment of disbelief that has sparked countless theories and speculation. Imagine, dear viewer, being there on that fateful day, witnessing the Prime Minister vanishing before your eyes. How could such a prominent figure disappear without a trace? It's like a scene from a political thriller with an oceanic twist. But fear not, dear viewer, we have one final story to unravel. Brace yourself for an extraterrestrial encounter and a disappearing act that's out of this world in Jim Sullivan's Alien Encounter. Are you ready to venture into the unknown? Hold on tight, we're about to blast off. Number 10. Jim Sullivan's Alien Encounter. Prepare for a close encounter of the mind-bending kind, dear viewer, as we delve into the extraordinary tale of Jim Sullivan and his otherworldly vanishing act. Buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey that blurs the line between reality and science fiction in Jim Sullivan's Alien Encounter. Jim Sullivan was a talented singer-songwriter from California, poised for stardom in the late 1960s. His folk rock sound and introspective lyrics hinted at a promising career. But destiny had something peculiar in store for him. In 1975, Sullivan set off on a road trip to Nashville, Tennessee, to pursue his musical dreams. However, his journey took a bizarre turn as he traversed the vast deserts of New Mexico. According to eyewitness accounts, Sullivan experienced a life-altering event, an encounter with extraterrestrial beings. The last recording of Sullivan wasn't an audio or video capture, but rather his enigmatic album titled UFO. Released in 1969, a few years before his disappearance, the album contained cryptic lyrics that seemed to foreshadow his cosmic encounter. Tracks like Jerome and Highways hinted at a profound fascination with the unknown. Sullivan's story has captivated the imagination of conspiracy theorists and music lovers alike. Some speculate that he was abducted by aliens, while others believe he intentionally vanished to escape the pressures of fame or pursue a hidden life. The truth remains elusive, cloaked in an extraterrestrial veil. As we bid farewell to Sullivan's cosmic odyssey, we're left pondering the mysteries of the universe and our place within it. It's a reminder that our reality is a tapestry of the known and the unknown, waiting to be unraveled. So, dear viewer, as we reach the end of our journey through the 10 last recordings of people who vanished without a trace, we're left with a sense of wonder and intrigue. These tales of fame, art, adventure, and the supernatural remind us that the world is full of unsolved mysteries, waiting to be explored. Who knows what secrets lie hidden in the lost recordings of others who have disappeared? The stories we've unraveled today are just the tip of the iceberg. So, dear viewer, keep your eyes open, your curiosity piqued, and your senses alert. The unknown is calling, and the next enigmatic recording could be just a click away. Safe travels, and may your own story be one that leaves a lasting record for generations to come.